friends, so hopefully you had a chance to glue in this great poster in your reader's notebook, and you are ready to roll with your turn book. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. While I am doing that, I would like you to turn to page 183 in your turn book. Okay, 183. I also wanted to point out something that I noticed. I made a mistake, and I'm sure you all caught it because you are smart cookies. When we were talking about the cause and effect sentences, that first sentence, I boxed so, and we pointed out that that was one of our keywords, but I realized that I said it was a cause word. But so would really be an effect word. So if you have your notebook close by, go ahead and just write that. I'm sure you already knew and you realized I made a mistake, which I apologize for, but I caught it and I'm just making sure you know. So put that in your memory bank that that is an effect word, okay? All right, so we are going to read a nonfiction text today, History of Human Flight, and we are looking for those cause and effect relationships. So here we go. The first thing we want to make sure we do is we want to make sure that we number our paragraphs. That's going to help us when we have to go back and find answers. A lot of times the questions tell you, go back and look in paragraph 5. If it's already numbered, then we're one step ahead of the game, okay? So under our first heading, remember headings are those mini little titles that tell about our paragraphs. We have 2 paragraphs. So let's go ahead and number that, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. We are going to move on to paragraph 3. And underneath gliders, we have paragraph 4. And we have paragraph 5. Okay, and then underneath our last heading, we've got paragraph 6 and we've got paragraph 7. So as we are reading this today, we're going to try to identify some of those cause and effect relationships. We are going to look for some of those keywords to help us know when there is a cause and effect in our story. All right. So wanting to fly like birds. You're going to read along with me. We'll answer a couple questions together, and then you will work on some on your own. All right, friends? So here we go. Wanting to fly like birds. Humans have always wanted to fly, but it took a long time for them to learn how to do it. At first, they tried to copy birds. They made wings out of wood. They attached the wings to their arms and tried to fly. But birds and humans do not have the same muscles. Is that an effect word? So the wings did not work. Well, I just told you that so is a what? A cause word or an effect word? It's an effect word. So here's our effect right here. So the wings did not work. What's the cause? See if you can identify the cause. If you read the sentence right above it, let's see if that makes sense. And let's add in because, my favorite word. Because birds and humans do not have the same muscles, the wings did not work. Does that make sense? All right, so let's go ahead and bubble our cause. So there's our first cause and effect relationship. All right, paragraph 2. The first big step toward human flight was the kite. The kite was made in China in 400 BC. Some used kites for fun. Others used them to test the weather. some people wanted to make flying objects that could carry people. So they made balloons and gliders. We're kind of working backwards here today, which is fine. This would be an example of a cause or an effect. It's an example of an effect, right? See if you can wave or bubble our cause. And remember, plugging in because can help you. Let's see, if we go up one sentence, let's plug it in together. Ready? Because some people wanted to make flying objects that could carry people, they made balloons and gliders. Does that make sense? Sure. Go ahead and bubble in that cause. All right. See how much easier it is once we know those keywords that kind of jump out at us? That helps, right? Ooh, let's read about hot air balloons. The first hot air balloon was a silk bag. The bag was filled with smoke from a fire. The hot air made the balloon lighter than the air around it. Because of this, is that a cause word? The bag rose into the sky. People attached a basket to the bag. Soon, they began to use it to travel. All right, so it says because of this. What's this? What are they talking about? What would the cause be? If we go up one more sentence, let's see, let's plug it in. Because the hot air made the balloon lighter than the air around it, the bag rose into the sky. Does that make sense? Yeah. So here's our cause. The hot air made the balloon lighter than the air around it. And then our effect is what? The bag rose up to the sky. All right, moving on to gliders. The next big step in human flight was the glider. A glider does not float like a balloon. It falls to earth, but it falls so slowly that it stays in the air a long time. Gliders are easier to control than balloons. With gliders, people could fly where they wanted. That sounds similar to an airplane, right? Turn to the next page. Several inventors improved the glider. George Cayley made a new wing shape. He also wanted to make the glider more stable. That's why he added a tail. Otto Lilienthal made a glider that could fly far. Sam Langley focused on ways to power the flight. He put an engine on the glider. Really flying, our last heading. Balloons and gliders made it possible for people to fly, but they did not let people travel very far. Octave Chanute studied all of the texts he could find about human flight. He wrote it all in a book. Two brothers from Ohio read the book. Oh, we read about those brothers. Do you remember their names? Their names were Wilbur and Orville Wright. Octave's book convinced them that they could make a flying machine. The Wright brothers were great thinkers. First, they did tests with balloons and kites. Then they learned about wind. They made a glider that worked well in any type of wind. Then they worked on an engine. It had to be strong. After 5 years of study, they used all their knowledge to make a flyer. At 10:35 a.m. on December 17th, 1903, the Wright brothers tested their new flyer. It worked. Orville Wright flew 120 feet in 12 seconds. I think that was in our story on Monday, wasn't it? Humans had learned to fly at last. And then I want you to zoom in real quick at our last nonfiction feature on this page. There's 2 of them. Can you point to it? We've got our photograph, right? This is an actual photo. But if we're not sure what that photo is, there's this great other nonfiction feature called a what? A caption, right? And in the caption is a little sentence that describes the photograph. This was the Wright Brothers' first flyer that we just read about. Pretty interesting, right? All right, guys, let's move on to our first two questions. We're going to do those together. Then you are going to do 3 and 4 by yourself, okay? Since I'm modeling and helping you with questions 1 and 2, I expect just as good of work and answers for your discussion post for 3 and 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at question number 1. When people made wings out of wood, why did they not work? Oh, I remember reading about that. See if you can find that. What paragraph was that in? And you know what I do to help me sometimes? The word wood. The word wood is not going to be in the story a million times. So I try to find a word that I can skim through and just kind of look at the words and look for that word to help me find the answer. So see if you can start at the beginning and skim through the words until you find the word wood. Oh, I found it. Did you? All right, so let's read and see. Remember, the question is asking us, when people made wings out of wood, why did they not work? They made wings out of wood. They attached the wings to their arms and tried to fly. But birds and humans do not have the same muscles, so the wings did not work. So why did they not work? Go ahead and underline it. They didn't work because birds and humans don't have the same muscles, right? So when we're writing that, we want to restate the question in our answer. And we could just start by saying, they did not work because birds and humans do not have the same what? Do you remember? Muscles. Okay, capital letter, complete sentence, period, high five. Moving on to question number 2. According to paragraph 2, now do you see why I make you number your paragraphs? Why did people make balloons and gliders? So that's easy for us to find. We already numbered paragraph 2. They want to know why people made balloons and gliders. See if you can skim through and underline that answer. I'll give you a minute to think about it. Look for those key words that jump out at you. Well, here's balloons and gliders. So let's read a little bit ahead. Some people wanted to make flying objects that could carry people, so they made balloons and gliders. Is that our answer? Yeah, let's go ahead and underline it. Okay, why did people make balloons and gliders? How could we restate that? You could start by saying they again. They made them because, why? Do you remember? Because people wanted to make flying objects that could carry people. They made them because they wanted to make flying objects that could carry people. All right. So I have modeled exactly how I want you to answer questions 3 and 4. Look for those keywords as you're skimming through the paragraphs. Underline your answer. When you are ready to write it, remember to write it in a complete sentence with a capital letter and a period. All right, guys? And then when you are all done, you will post 3 and 4 in your discussion post. High five today. Good job. All right. Have a fabulous day. I'll talk to you later.